Hey,
Hello, good morning. How are you?
what's going on? Nice to see you in person.
Likewise, likewise. How are you?
I'm good. We're always doing it over audio. Yeah, good to see you. Where are you located?
Hey,
Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, you're in Madison. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm still here in Kansas City. Hi, Sharel.
hey Joe, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. I just released our interview today.
I was just listening to it.
Okay,
Sounds
good.
good.
Good. Yeah, so everything's like full circle again. We're having a big moment of deja vu right now. So it's great to see you. Thank you for taking a minute out to talk about this project. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for your interest in it.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm always
Mhm.
interested. Yeah, I love your music. Both of you, I have you on the show quite a bit, so it's wonderful to see you together. And I think that's kind of the idea here is that, I want to get to kind of the beginnings of how this project came about and how you started working it together. How did that happen?
Well, so the initially it started out as an idea of mine. As a project of mine, I've been playing with John Christensen and Devin Drobka for over a decade now. Really, since I moved to Wisconsin. I met them and immediately just like loved their playing, and we had this great chemistry. And of course, that's been building over a decade. Mitch, I knew primarily as a drum set player, Mitch Shiner, and he's a fabulous drum set player too. And then in around 2019, somebody told me, "Hey, did you know that Mitch is also a great vibraphonist?" And I didn't, but I took their word for it and booked a gig, and we just had a really great time. And he was a fabulous vibraphonist, and then Sharel and I we met around 2018, 2019 as well. And just got to work a little bit through my job at the University of Wisconsin. Sharel jumped in and taught for a semester on a colleague's during a colleague's medical leave. And I know she sounded amazing with our students, and I wanted to play with her as well. And all of those things, getting these players who are all super in demand, busy players here in the Upper Midwest. Getting them all together sort of required a lot of long-term planning because I mean we're running into this now as well. Every time we're trying to book a gig, we have to like think like six months or more in advance because everybody has a tour already or a recording date or something. And uh, so this was in early 2020. I pitched the idea of doing a gig in the fall of 2020 together as part of this series that featured new compositions by local and regional composers. We got picked for the series, booked the gig, and from early 2020 to fall of 2020, there were some changes. COVID hit,
Yeah.
and so. It was late enough in the fall of 2020 that the organizers we realized like there's no good just canceling everything, and the organizers gave us an opportunity to perform remotely, as we now commonly do, and as we all got used to. But it was still a pretty new thing at the time, and so we had a YouTube performance in this big, they rebooked it into this 1,100 seat concert hall, and there was the five of us on a very large stage together, and a couple of people, all wearing masks except for Sharel, because that's kind of hard to do while playing the saxophone, and the rest of us, masked up, and about like three other like crew members like streaming the thing. And it's the first time we played together, and it was so much fun. I had a great time. It was like everything and way more than I'd hoped for like the chemistry of that band. And I think that was kind of like that, and that was sort of mutual. I think everybody had a really great time. I mean, it was just wonderful to be able to play any music in the fall of 2020 when everything else was canceled. So that I think that helped too. But everybody just really hit it off, and we never played together as this particular group, um, yeah. So I said, hey, would you be into making a recording during this pandemic? Doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. But we've been doing some stuff with my students in the recording studio, taking advantage of the fact that you can put a wind instrument in an ISO booth, which is built to isolate sound, and it does it by isolating air. So we kind of felt like, okay, Sharel can be in an ISO booth and have her own air and take off her mask and blow the saxophone, and put her breath and her air all over that little room, back at a time when that was like still something that when the instrument she plays was sort of seen as a threat to health and such. And the rest of us were in different ISO booths. So we made a record in February of 21, when again, like, it was easy to book. I just said, hey, are you guys interested in making a record? And they all just said, yeah, I have like literally nothing going on that month, so that'd be awesome. So we made a record, and that came out last year, and it was called Precarious Towers. And I'll let Sharel take it from there.
Yeah, from there, the like Johannes said, the chemistry in the band was amazing. The first time I played with the band, I was just like, what is this? This is great. Just felt free on and off the bandstand. The chemistry with the band was amazing. So Johannes's album Precarious Towers came out, and we did some CD releases. We played some festivals throughout the year, and each time we played together, the chemistry remained at a high level. It was just so much fun. So I proposed that maybe we could record an album as a collaborative group in our studio at my house, which everyone was game. I know Johannes, had a grant project that he could work with this on, and everybody else, we were just in this together, and we each contributed 2 compositions, and got together, rehearsed, recorded, and had a great time. It's just a really fun band.
So what's the idea behind 10? What's that?
What's that?
The idea behind
So
10
the
stories?
Right. Well, first, the title Precarious Tower, that comes from Johannes's album Precarious Towers, because I would go to festivals everywhere and people would say, hey, that album Precarious Towers, that album Precarious Towers, it was great. I loved it, when I talked to radio DJs. So we just decided to call the band Precarious Towers, and 10 stories, it's kind of a double meaning. So you can look at it like, 10 building stories, or you can look at it as each composition is a story, because there's 10 compositions.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all write in a very personal way too, and each song really does feel like a story.
Yeah, so it's like an anthology. It's like a collection of stories that all sort of have a common thread, and but they each self-contained as well. And and the idea of the Precarious Towers was that from the beginning, the title can have sort of a could have a scary looming 9/11 kind of vibe to it. It certainly isn't intended as that. We look at it as a very playful sort of thing. Sharel and I are both parents to now 6-year-olds, but at the time that the initial project was named, it was based on a piece I wrote of playing with Duplo Legos with my daughter, and building these really ornate towers by just stacking more and more Duplo blocks on top of each other. And then and I think she had even more fun building the tower to the point of collapse than like building a structurally sound kind of architectural thing. Like the collapse and the rebuilding was sort of a big part of it. And she would request like, yeah, Papa, can we build some more precarious towers, because we talked about like the precariousness of it and so on. So so it's the idea of sort of a playful building sort of thing. Seeing how ornate we might get with our constructions before possibly they run the risk of collapsing under the hubris of just like the risk taking.
I remember that story from last time we spoke. So my question to you is, this album immediately comes right out of the gate. You can tell there's chemistry. There's a good feeling to it. It's a really good straight ahead kind of sound. My question to you is, what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Well, I think if someone listens to the album, it's not a background album, right? So if someone really truly sits and listens to the album, they'll get some of the feelings that came from these experiences in the songs. For instance, my song, Tone Poem, If You Miners, was written in the desert at midnight, walking through desert, you know. Johannes's songs all have a story, a meaning, and you hear that, but you also hear the interaction and the play between all of us that's really intricate and a lot of fun. But they'll experience the ride with us.
So if you release another album under Precarious Towers, you should see if you can get funding to actually get a little bag of blocks to put on the release, and it has everybody's name on it in the band, and then the name of the song on each, and see who knocks it over.
That's some good merchandising. I love it.
It'd be fun, you know.
Yeah.
It could make it an interactive thing, because you know, when you're doing something like that, you're contemplative, then you might as well hone in on music. So it could be a 2-in-1 kind of a thing. So that's my next question. That was kind of a natural lead in. What's the plan? Are you continuing? And I think that's the thing I want to get to as well. There's so many things I remember over this COVID period that we were like, wait till we come out of this and you hear what we're doing. This is kind of one of those little moments in the crystal ball where we're all coming back. The camera in the movie is coming back over the landscape that's been charred and destroyed for 3 years. And we're finally getting all of this music and all of these things. Do you ever think about the offshoot of this and how much you've grown and how much you can grow as a unit because of this?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of think of actually, it, I sort of think of this as the post-COVID COVID project, because the initial album, that was the COVID project. That was us all like masked and
Yeah.
in the middle of it. And yeah, and in fact, you know, that first album, it had 3 songs that were specifically written kind of about that like lockdown experience, yeah, which also happened to coincide with the 2020 election, and like that sort of like angsty sort of element of like feeling a bit claustrophobic at times in our own skin, in our spaces and so on. And whereas you know, coming back to this, like, you know, 2 years later, like, you know, we threw open the doors, and I think there's an openness to you know, to everything that we're playing, that in a way, like, it sort of, to me, has a post COVID vibe in there. So yeah, I mean, what's the next step is to you know, book more gigs. We have a couple of things coming up, and you know, what's beautiful now about you know, this collaborative element is that everybody is looking for, yeah, for opportunities to work their networks, and I think that's going to open up some nice possibilities for us.
Did you want to add anything, Sharel?
Sharel looks very contemplative right now, but I think it's just her screen froze up.
I think it did freeze up, yeah. Okay, I think it's on mute. Yeah, it could have frozen up. So you had mentioned live gigs. So talk to me a little bit about getting everybody together, live gigs, and how are things are kind of outlaying for you for the rest of the year.
Well, so the challenging thing with this is recording this album from the idea of, we want to do this collaborative recording project, which really came out of the album release gigs that we did last summer. And you know, in late summer we started talking about this, and from August to the actual, oh no, we started talking about this back in June when we had the first bunch of CD release things. From June to the actual recording date in January, that was simply a question of finding a date when everybody was available, and with the 5 of us putting our heads together, it took all the way until January to find, you know, to identify one rehearsal date and one recording date, because unlike during the pandemic, you know, we our schedules are incredibly it's incredibly hard to get, you know, the 5 people together at the same time. So right now we're really booking out for next for next year. Oh, I think Sharel is about to rejoin us on there, but yeah, we're looking at 2023. Sorry, 2024 for upcoming performances. We're doing something at the Fox Cities Jazz Festival, on Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately, Sharel is not able to join us for that one. It's the rest of the band plus a very capable substitute saxophonist, but we're going to miss the heck out of Sharel. Then we're doing something at the Wisconsin Conservatory of Music in Milwaukee in October, and then Sharel, what are the upcoming plans after that?
I think we're going to play at Winters in 2024 in Chicago. We may book some more Midwest dates that we can all get to. Maybe Indiana, more Wisconsin. St. Louis would be great. But yeah, we're looking into booking that now, and I'm already writing for the next album. I think with this band, I can go anywhere that I hear. It's really cool.
So if anyone wants to pick up this album, learn more about the band, anything in the future, what can they do?
Well, they can go to our record label, Shifting Paradigm Records, which is distributed through Bandcamp, and find our album on Bandcamp. They can order it as a physical CD for people who enjoy having a physical product. It's a very beautiful looking album designed by the design is by our bassist John Christensen. And you'll see the sort of anthology look of the album in the cover art. It's also available through for download and streaming on if they want to buy the album again as a download or to support the band, they can find that through a Bandcamp distributor, or it's on all the major streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, and so on as well. So whatever works for people. It's on fine websites everywhere.
Sure. Absolutely.
And also, if you order it on Bandcamp right now, you get 3 tracks before it's released.
Oh, cool. Okay.
3 tracks.
Cool. And I will put links to that in the liners. It was so good to get everybody together to talk about this. Best of luck with everything as we kind of move into this year. Thank you. I appreciate it. And
Joe, until we get our merchandising together, people can also just buy a bag of Duplo Legos and build some towers while they're listening to the album.
What I'm talking about. See, everything's moving in the right direction. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice to see you all.
It's nice to see you. Take care.
See you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.